Hello, my name is Sarah. Welcome to the It is a Sarah podcast. In this week's vloggy episode, I want to share my handwerk perikelen, which is a Dutch word for my creative adventures from this week with you. I'm coming to you from the Netherlands, so excuse my Dutchy English. I love to knit, I love to crochet, and I love to talk, so that's the perfect combination for making this podcast. I also make a Dutch episode every Monday, which you can watch with subtitles if you want to. If you miss subtitles in a specific language, please let me know and I will check if I can add them. I still enjoy knitting my 50 stripe shawl. I love the colorwork so much. This Dutch pattern by Bregina Tuinstra is available as a kit in her webshop, and I knit on it every now and then, so it grows slowly. Not as fast as I expected, but I think it will be finished in autumn, and that's perfect. This week I started a new crochet plant. I start with crocheting the soil with brown cotton yarn that I once found on a cone in the thrift shop. I think it is a fingering weight yarn, and I crochet with double strands on a 3.5mm crochet hook. I don't really use a pattern for crocheting the soil. I already crocheted many little plants and also a few bigger ones, and along the way I developed my own recipe. I wrote it down on my Ravelry page, which I will link down below. Maybe it will be useful for you as well. But please be aware, it are just my notes. It's not a well-written pattern. For the crochet plant, I will use a terracotta pot that had another plant in it. Not a crochet one, a real one. So first I need to give it a good scrub. On Tuesday, May 5th, it was Liberation Day. Now I do know how to say that in English. My husband had a day off and we decided to make a nice long walk. It rained a lot the past days, so the forest was quite wet. There were some challenging puddles along the way, and my feet did get wet, but it was a beautiful hike. In this time of the year, you have those beautiful rhododendrons. I don't know how to pronounce that in English. Maybe it's just rhododendron, with the beautiful purple flowers, and they are just amazing, and we enjoyed that a lot. It was still a bit chilly, so my husband was very happy with his new fresh Musselburg hat. I think this shade of brown is just amazing. I was wearing my Calidez vest and my traveler shawl. No coat needed with these two lovely woolly layers. Halfway, we stopped for a short break, and of course I brought my knitting with me. I always do. I am working on a sock right now. It is a stash knitting project, just knitting away some stash yarn in bright pink and some other colors. This is my second sock, and it's mainly living in my backpack and getting a little bit of knitting attention every now and then, and that's perfect. I always wear hand knitted socks when we are hiking. I don't own any other socks than hand knitted ones. And I noticed the print of this lovely cable socks got into my feet and it looked a little bit silly wearing hand knitted socks without wearing them.
Van mijn eigen
On Tuesday afternoon, I quickly visited my local yarn shop to pick up some yarn for my Olga sweater, which they didn't have, so I need to wait a little bit longer, but that's not a problem. There were a few ladies knitting and crocheting together, and it looked very cozy. I think it's so nice to see all the projects and get some inspiration. One of the ladies was working on a very nice cardigan with a main collar and also a kind of scrappy yarn ball. The pattern is called Keep It Simple Cardigan and it is by Marianne Isager. By knotting together little pieces of yarn of around 25 centimeter, you create a new ball and it gives a really fun effect. Most of the time you knit with your main color and every now and then you add a row with your magic yarn ball, which has a lot of knots, but not magic knots. You can leave the ends just at the inside of your work. It really gives a fun effect. Back at home, I decided I also wanted to make such a magical yarn ball. I was also making dinner, so that was a little bit of a challenge for me because I don't really love to cook and I do love to play with yarn, but we also needed to eat. So yeah, I managed to do both, kind of. I used my longer leftover yarn pieces. I always keep my cut yarn ends in a basket to fill my crochet plants, or actually to fill the soil of the crochet plants. And most of those pieces are short, but I also found some longer ends to make a small ball. No magic knots this time. I'm not a fan of the magic knot. I don't trust the magic knot. I know a lot of people have successful experiences with the magic knot, but unfortunately I'm not one of you. So I'm just simply tying those yarn ends together and it is making me happy. I think it would be really fun to use this yarn ball in a garment. One day, not today. Back to my crocheted soil. I always enjoy making this while counting every stitch, and that's not really necessary, but I find it very calming. Of course, it's important not to lose count, so this only works when I can crochet in silence and no one is around me. If that's not possible, I can perfectly mark the beginning and end with a little piece of yarn. Besides my cut yarn ends, I also keep small fabric scraps to use as stuffing. Today I also added 2 worn out pillowcases to that pile. They have holes in them and I cannot really use the fabric for anything else anymore because it's damaged too much. So I tear them into little pieces and use them to stuff my soil. The shape is a little less pretty, but that doesn't really matter. It's going into the pot anyway. Hello! Today it is Wednesday, May 6, 2026 and I am busy doing all my tasks. In my last Monday episode I picked some tasks, I shared them with you and I asked you to be my stick behind the door and it really works. I already finished my soil. I'm so happy with it. It became a little bit bigger as I planned, but it's actually pretty good. I think you already have seen how I made it. I filled it with mainly fabric and that way the shape gets a little bit less round than when you fill it with wool. But it's okay because it will be in the pot anyway and now I need to decide what kind of plant I want to make, but I will save that for next week. There is much more on my list for this week and I already discovered a new pattern I really want to knit. Yesterday I think yesterday the Vlog Fest of Andrea Mowry came out. And the moment I saw it, I knew I wanted it. And in the beginning I was thinking I have another pattern, the Calidez vest, for a V-shaped neckline vest. And I really love it, so I can copy the idea of the stripes. But then I discovered her vest, Andrea Mowry vest, is knitted top down, and I prefer that construction. And then I thought, okay, let me buy the pattern. Every test knitted item I saw, and also her own vest, I really loved the look of it, so I have the perfect yarn for it in stash. This is yarn from Studio Solas. It's a Dutch dyer, it's all natural yarn, and I think I will have enough. This will be my main color, and with those two colors I will knit the stripes. It's a little bit exciting if I have enough of this yarn, but when I don't have enough, we will make it cropped anyway, so I think we're good. And I wanted to cast it on immediately, but then I told myself, no, finish your tasks first, because you will feel better if you do that. So this sweater was on my list. This is my Kerr sweater. I knitted it with this beautiful Portuguese yarn from Roll Up the Sheep. It was my New Year's cast on. I always love to cast on something light on the first day of the year, and I really love the yarn. I bought it at Knitfest in Zurich in November 2025, and I really love the look, how it knits up, and I love the feeling. So I love the sweater. The only thing, it's a little bit too cropped, I thought. I'm not sure right now, because I thought, let's fit it. It was originally my plan to add some extra length, and I thought it was a little bit shorter and wider. Yeah, I think when it would be a little more fitted, the length would be perfect on dresses, but wear this sweater on white dresses, it was a little bit too much, and I thought it's too cropped to wear on a skirt. But now I am doing a quick fit again. I don't really know if there's a problem. It is still white and cropped, but maybe I love the look of it. It's a little bit shorter this way. So I don't know what to do right now. It was my plan to wind up this cane, unravel the ribbing, add a few centimeters of stockinette and re-knit the ribbing. But because it's such a small, maybe, I don't know, maybe it's not warm today, so maybe I just need to wear it. I think it is cropped, because when I put my arms up, you see my, I don't know, I haven't wear the sweater since it's finished for a whole day, only some fitting sessions. Maybe I need to wear it for a few hours before I can decide. Maybe it's okay this way. I'm doubting. Or maybe I can just, but I'm afraid if I just add a few rows of ribbing, it will be too long. It is such a lovely sweater, such a lovely yarn. Yeah, so I don't know what to do. So let's start with my other task. My sock cardigan. Let me put it on so I can explain what I am doing with that one. The sock cardigan is a pattern by Eve. She's a Dutch knitter, and this is her first pattern and only pattern, I guess. She designed this lovely cardigan, and I knitted it. I test knitted it in 2023. But I love the look of the cardigan, but I made it too fitted. So I should have picked a size bigger. I originally did, but I was struggling getting gauge and all the things, and then yeah, in that time I prefer to knit my garments quite fitted. and I am coming back of that right now. So what did I do a few weeks ago? I turned this raglan cardigan into a V-shaped neckline, and I showed it in the podcast as well by making some little small sticks. Right here, this one I finished with a facing. This one I tried to do something else, but I'm not happy with that, and it's very visible, so I will add some facing right there as well. But then, because it was so tight, my button band was gaping, and I thought, okay, I can wear it as an open fronted cardigan, or my youngest girl, she can wear it, but quite some viewers suggested in the comments that I could sew down the button band and wear it as a sweater with a fake button band. And in the beginning I thought, I don't know, but right now I am doing it, and I think I really love it. But let me put the camera a little bit lower so you can see it. I am almost done. I don't know if you can see it. I really love those stitches from the bind off. It's a little bit as if they are slip stitched, and I love the look of that. So I tried to keep that visible when my first sew down. How do you say it? When I was sewing it down the first time, I tried to keep that as visible as possible, but it was not looking nice. It was looking this way. So now I'm sewing a second time, and I'm connecting the slip stitch with the first stitch of the color work, and I stopped at this point because I thought it might be helpful or interesting to see the difference. So it was this way, looking messy, and still there is quite some force on it, so it's stretching out much more than I like. And this way it is looking nice and neat. So I will finish it this way, and then I can wear it. And I prefer to wear it with not a long sleeve under it, but I really love the look of it, and I really am happy that I can add it back to my wardrobe because this is really a cardigan I like. So I need to do two things. I need to sew down the button band, and then I need to undo my crochet try of finishing the stick stitches and add some facing so it will be nice and neat again. Or maybe I can just leave it unfinished because I won't wear it as an open fronted cardigan anymore. So that's my plan for today. And then I still can think of my Kerr sweater. And my last task on my list was my fabric, my beautiful fabric. But I think it will be a little bit too much to do that also today, so we shall see. There are more days in this week, but I am feeling very high energized. I am feeling all the inspiration, and I'm very productive. So yeah, let's get busy. Let's stay busy. Let's do some tasks. Oh, I can wear this tomorrow if I finish this today. It would be fun.
It feels nice to finally get around to little tasks that have been waiting for so long. Most of the time they are small tasks that don't take up much time. However, altogether they can still take up quite a lot of mental space. In Dutch I would call this ruis op de lijn, noise on the line. Very nice to declutter that every now and then.
After wearing my Kerr sweater for a few hours yesterday and asking my daughters and my husband for some advice, or actually for their opinion about the length of the sweater, I decided to add a few rounds of ribbing. I already had quite some ribbing. This is actually my first garment with a knit 2 purl 1 ribbing, and I really love it, especially the neckline and also
at the sleeves. I think it looks really nice and neat. So that was the main reason why I decided to knit quite some ribbing in this plain sweater. So I decided to add 5 rounds of ribbing, and in the end it became 6, because in the 5th round I had quite some brown. Every now and then there's a little bit of brown in the yarn, which creates a lovely stripe, and I didn't want that in the bind off. It's a little bit right here, but not very obvious. So 6 rounds of ribbing, and I think we are good right now. I tried it on immediately yesterday evening, and I think it's okay. So what I will do now, you can see the difference a little bit between the not blocked rounds and the blocked fabric. I will put it in the washing machine on the wool wash program, and I hope that will be enough to get these stitches straight as well. And then I will start wearing it, and I hope it will be good. And if not, I can do another sweater surgery. I can remove the ribbing and add some extra length, but I think this is good. So it's off my list. I'm going very well with all my to-dos. I think my Kerr sweater might have shrunk a little in the washing machine. Even though I was a bit shocked, it seems okay, and I will tell you more about it in my Dutch episode of this week. Last week I also finished my sporty tank, a pattern by Jack Cieslak. It's a project I already started in the summer of 2025. I knitted it with yarn I received from someone special. I still have a few other projects on my needles that are related to it as well. Once everything is finished, I will tell you more about it. Okay, this was my last task of this week, checking what I can make out of this fabric. I think this is a 3-meter piece of fabric. Yes, it is. I really love the label with all the information. 145 centimeters width, 100% pure linen, 190 gram per square meter. That's not telling me much yet, but I also didn't know the differences between yarn weights when I just started as a knitter. What I know now is it was a little bit of puzzling. I can make a hinterland dress the length I want it to be out of it, a sleeveless one with pockets. And then, and I hoped for that, there is enough left to make a longer skirt out of it until my ankle length. I really wanted that because otherwise I have a short skirt and a short hinterland dress. That's a little bit of the same. The only thing is I don't know how the drape of the fabric is when I am wearing it. So my plan for now is start with the hinterland dress because I want that dress anyway. Start wearing it and then decide if I want a plain long skirt. I have one, and it's one of my favorites, but that's a linen viscose mix. I'm sorry if you are hearing the spin cycle of my washing machine at the background. And I also would love to make, how it's called, a songbird skirt from So Liberated out of it. A skirt with all the tiers, and I need to make some adjustments. I don't have enough fabric to make it with pockets, but I can just make some. It has this kind of pockets. I use this from the songbird skirt, and I really love those pockets, but there's not enough fabric for that. I think I could do it with another color for the pockets. I also have some brown left, but I don't know if I love the look of that. Maybe it's okay to make it with no pockets or with just these kind of pockets. But I want to know how the drape is, and also when I make a skirt with tiers, it has a light check, which will be a challenge to knit straight. Sorry, to sew straight. So that's also the case with the hinterland dress, especially because I want a button band, a fake button band. I want to add that at the front, but we will see how it works. It's okay when it's a little bit wonky. I don't mind, I think. So my task for this week is done. Check what I can make out of it. So the next step, but it's okay when it will not happen this week. The next step will be make a start with the hinterland dress. So yeah, that's it. Now I'm allowed to start a new knitting project. First, organize this, put all things back. Yeah, and then I will wind up some yarn.
Last weekend the weather in the Netherlands was really lovely again. I chose to wear one of my most colorful vests. Last year I combined the pattern of the Calidez vest from JenJoyce design with some color work. I found inspiration for it in all kinds of patterns. This was such a HeartJumping project. The rest of the weekend I spent a lot of time knitting on my newest cast on, the Vlog Vest by Andrea Mowry. I really love this pattern. It is addictive to knit, stripes are addictive to knit, and I love the look of the finished vest. And I hope I will be able to wear this one soon. I think that won't be a problem because it is really a quick knit. Okay, that's it for today. I wish you a wonderful week filled with a lot of HeartJumping moments. If you can't find them, create them because we need them. Thank you for watching and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye!